Not too long ago, most non-Hallyu fans had no idea what photocards were. But in the last few weeks, papels were put in the spotlight, and sometimes not in the best way. Hi, I'm Marguerite De Leon, and in this episode of Hello to Hallyu, Rappler's talk show on all things fandom, we discuss the big photocard controversy and how the world of K-pop fan merchandise is way more complex than it seems. So, hello to our guests today from Rappler.
Hi po.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Finally.
I know, right? Here's Isa from the LSE team, Gabby from the Data Forensics team, and Russ from the Digicoms team. Familiar faces if you've been watching Hello to Hallyu. So, I'll play the dumb person here. Yeah, diba? Parang, so, what exactly, before we get into the whole controversy, ano yung photocards? Ano yung papels? I guess the person who wrote the article on it.
So basically, photocards like these are usually part of an album inclusion ng K-pop releases. So usually, ang pinaka-common pong photocard ay from the albums na parang kapag bumili ka ng isang album, it's either like may isa or dalawang photocards na doon. But ever since like lumaki yung K-pop, obviously, mas dumami na rin siya releases and almost all the time, pati yung bawat releases na yon, may kanya-kanya na rin photocard. Like sometimes, meron tayong photocards from the hoodies they sell, from the bags they sell. Tapos usually yung ibang photocards ay mabibili pa kapag pumunta ka ng isang event when it comes to like concerts. So basically, parang kita nyo naman, picture lang naman talaga siya. Oh. Like, cards lang naman siya na parang laminated, gano'n. Tapos, nadadala mo lang siya somewhere. So, kung i-compare natin siya for non-K-pop collectors, it's mainly para siyang NBA cards or the Pokemon cards. So, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yung mga gano'n.
Collector's items.
Yeah.
Sige. So, I guess we'll start with you na, when did you first start getting into photocards?
I've been buying K-pop merchandise ever since, I think, 2018 ata, 2019. Pero at that time, hindi pa ganun kalaki yung photocard culture sa Philippines. Like, before pandemic, feeling ko, in my personal opinion, kasi sobrang nag-boom lang yung photocard collecting during the pandemic. Ang dami kong friends na nakilalang nag-start mag-collect nung pandemic na, nung hindi na kami nakaka-attend ng concerts, ganun. So, dati naman, hindi ako yung tipong nagsisik ng, parang kung ano lang yung makita ko sa albums, parang okay, ikikip ko na siya. Tapos at that time, wala pa akong alam sa kung paano ba dapat alagaan yung isang photocard. Parang, sige, lagay ko lang siya ulit sa album. Pero ngayon, meron na siyang may mga pa-sleeves na siya, may pa-binder na siya. So, ang dami niya ng intricacies. Tapos, I remember before pandemic, umabot pa ako sa time na, kasi andito na ako sa Manila. So, parang, makakahanap ka ng friends sa Twitter, tapos minsan isisik mo na parang, uy, meron ka po bang ganitong member? Magkita tayo, tapos palit tayong gano'n. Tapos parang, doon ko natutunan kung ano yung mga LRT stations. Kasi most of the time, doon kami nagmi-meet na parang, okay, sa Cubao na lang tayo para mas madali pareho. So, andun siya. Tapos parang nung pandemic na, umabot pa kami sa point na parang may mga sites na kami, like Japanese site na tinatawag na Mercury. Umabot pa kami sa Indonesia shops na parang nakikipag-trade ka pa sa US. So parang sobrang complex niya talaga. If like for people na talagang sineseryoso or like talagang into the collecting culture. So ayun, that's it. So wait lang, yun. Mainly kasi ang kinokollect ko na ngayon ay 17, like K-pop boy group 17.
Okay. Sige, how about you guys, Gabby and Russ?
Yeah. You want me to
Sige.
go ahead? I'll go
Gabby.
ahead.
Yeah, ikaw muna.
Because I started listening naman to K-pop when I was in college, pero I was a broke college student. So wala naman akong budget to buy merch or photocards. So I really only got into it nung nagka-pandemic na din. So I only really started buying kasi I think for most people naman talaga, like during the pandemic, we could save our money that we weren't using on like going out for lunch, ganyan, going out with friends, ganun, going to different events, ganun. So parang yung that money that I had saved, I could spend it on yung mga ganong items like photocards. So, I don't know, I think it was just because my friends were also collecting photocards and so parang I was also encouraged to buy my own. So like I was
Sounds like peer pressure. Pero,
Di naman sa peer pressure, but like it looks like okay, they look like they're having fun, and
yeah.
then parang it looks like a worthy investment. So I can buy like a few. I'll see how it makes me feel. Like if I enjoy collecting them, and turns out naman like I was okay naman. Like I'm not a very I don't have to, parang, I don't pressure myself naman din to like buy every single photo card. Yung mga, like, the ones that I really, really like lang. So, I got into it because, like, my friends are also getting into it, so I thought, might as well try it. And then I really, like, decided na, okay, baka naman, this is something that, I can really, parang it gives me, like, something to look forward to, kumbaga. Like, during the pandemic, I was like, okay, so this, one of the groups that I follow, they're gonna release a new album. Maybe I'll wait until, parang lumabas na
Kasi
yung photo
previews,
card.
yeah.
Yeah, yung previews. And I'm just like, if they're okay, then maybe that's something I can invest in. So it's really something I looked forward to during the pandemic.
I have a follow-up question. I'm
Yeah.
curious. Like, so what do you consider a card that you want to get? Like, ano yung criteria mo? Oo.
Personally, wala lang. Like, because we have sparks. Ano ba yun? Parang photocard sparks. Like, I don't know how to explain. Yung talaga yung term namin eh. Like, photocard sparks. Like,
There's even a term for it. Okay.
yeah, kapag may sparks, ganun. I mean, because like, there are other collectors, other serious collectors who really collect every single photo card.
Releases, yeah.
But I don't do that naman. Because like, I want to be like, I want to be responsible with the way I spend my money. Like, I want to spend it for like my other needs, my other wants. So really think it's just like whatever I feel. I mean, like when they release like a preview of a photo card, like if like, for example, like parang feeling ko, oh, ang cute naman ng pose niya dito. Okay, I'm gonna buy it. Or like I love this outfit on him. I love this, parang look on him, so I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
Yeah, I really feel like it depends per person talaga. But that's a term that like gets really commonly used in the K-pop community. Pag may sparks.
sparks.
Yeah, pag may
Galing.
sparks, yeah.
So parang instinctive na.
Yeah, like I figure like, oh my God, I really want this one. And there are other photo cards that are just like, okay lang, like I don't need to buy it. So
Okay.
like I'll prioritize other photo cards that I really want to buy.
Awesome. Ikaw, Russ?
Medyo similar actually to Gabby. Like, medyo new ako. Actually, medyo very few yung photo card collection ko compared to Gabby and Isa. And it's really just because, like, even whether being a student or whether being, like, working now, kasi, like, I've been a K-pop fan. Like, I've had, like, since medyo 2009, then took a break, then became a K-pop fan again in 2016. Medyo, like, the whole album collection didn't appeal to me at first kasi, like, I was really, like, trying to, like, make ends meet talaga. At, like,
as a student, yeah.
Oo, like, as a student. And not just as a student, but also as a worker now. Na parang, there's also more priorities that you need. For example, I, as a K-pop fan, I would rather bank on experience. So, I would really invest myself in concerts. So, like, I would really want the best ticket talaga. But, it started kasi, just, like, talaga that's it's also the sparks. It's also the sparks. Like,
It's a je ne sais quoi, something that you can't put your finger on it,
yeah,
pero
and I was like, oh my God, I just want this card. So
okay.
I just like, okay, I would just go through all lengths talaga. When I started like getting photo cards, I even like, I bought top loaders, I bought sleeves.
Exactly.
Like,
So it's I remember like my guy friends NBA yeah, so it's very similar that they also have like special expensive sleeves for it.
Yeah.
Tsaka for me, like, part na talaga siya ng araw-araw ko. Like, before I go out, make sure ko nadala ko yung keys ko, yung vaccination card ko, ID ko, at saka may chosen photo card ako for the day. Like, even before this whole issue, alam na nila yun, na kapag andito ako sa office, may dala akong photo card. Tapos it's either like, pipicturean ko siya dyan sa office or everywhere. Kahit pag mag-vacation ka or kapag kahit nakakain ka somewhere. Parang for me, like, part na siya ng everyday life ko talaga before it even like boomed na ganito.
Okay, so you mentioned the controversy. So let's get a quick backgrounder on it. So there was a show that came out a few weeks ago that featured a young woman who allegedly stole money from her
Yeah.
family's business in order to fund her photo card collection. And then parang may mention na meron siyang isang photo card na 50,000 pesos ang halaga. So can anybody tell me like what happened after the airing of that episode?
since the airing of that episode, talaga fans were looking at like every single bit of the story also, and like they were also trending that show. Can I drop the name of the show?
Wag na lang
Wag
muna.
But
Let's
then
be nice.
Yeah, that show trended, and everyone was really complaining because like there were complaints of snatching in the MRT, like because of like that mentioned the price of the 50,000 peso and the collection going for 2.7 million, people were like, oh, we could steal something and sell for like a valuable price. So they were stealing photocards na din. And there was also discrimination because like if you do know as if you're if you're in the buy and sell community, you usually tend to have it shipped through LBC, Go Express. So now they're also facing discrimination. Like they were like, oh, sure ka ba na hindi nakaw yan, ganun. So it really just made them feel more uncomfortable and safe because like K-pop fans already tend to feel discriminated already, even like before the whole photocard thing. Much more now with the photocards. Like now they're being made fun of, they're getting taken advantage of. It's really, it just really makes them feel more unsafe to be a fan.
Ayan. So I guess for me lang kasi I think the one of the most enjoyable thing of like collecting before this whole issue was like it's something that only collectors know na parang sometimes kapag may makakakita ka, usually for example for the concerts, pag may nakakita kami na by bag dyan nakasabit na photocard, alam mo na kung sino yung bias niya. Like you could like it could start conversation and it's something that I usually do kapag may naglalakad ako somewhere tapos biglang unexpectedly may makita akong uy, may Jonghan photocard. Parang, uy, bias mo rin po ba siya? It's, di ba? It's something like that. Pero ever since na parang naging na siyang, parang nagka-idea na yung ibang tao on what these photocards are. Tapos they think na ganito yung presyo madalas. Parang, ayun, parang nagiging easy target na kami for non-collectors when they don't even like realize kung bakit there several nuances kung paano nakaka-apekto yung pricing ng bawat photocards. Tapos ayun, we've reached out also since we came out with an article kung paano na nga yung community after that. We've reached out to several collectors also na parang they've had first-hand experiences. I mean, akin naman wala pa eh. Pero there's others na parang nanakawan sila sa cafe, tapos parang when they have their photocards hanging out, parang tinatanong na nga sila na parang, yun, just like what Russell said. Even before that episode was released, parang we can like comfortably walk outside bringing our photocards na parang walang judgment. And hindi naman, I mean, we can't deny kung gaano ka-effective or gaano ka, na talagang nagkaroon ng epekto yung ganong public portrayal ng pagko-collect sa collectors ngayon na parang, I mean, honestly, nung nilabas yung episode, I didn't think na ganitong, di ba, parang ganun, uabot siya sa point na mas snatchan ka. Parang, hello, nakaupo ka lang naman sa bus, tapos biglang may what ng photocard mo. Ano yun? So parang, hindi namin, for us collectors, hindi naman in-expect na ganito yung magiging impact na with the community. And honestly, it's like, ang daming fears na ng community ngayon, which I think later na lang. Kasi, Gabby.
Context on like the expensive, I don't have the expensive photocard.
Yeah, parang, can you give a context about like the general pricing?
Yeah, okay. So this is like the normal version. Ito yung normal version. So it's like parang these are reasonably priced naman. Bale,
Define reasonably.
Reasonably priced, a few hundreds lang. Like, di naman umabot ng 50K. But there are special versions of this photocard that, kasi they only release like a limited number, siguro mga a few hundreds lang. Only a few hundreds. The difference is this is black, so the special ones are silver. Silver. And then they only appear in the first press of this certain album, which is why they're so expensive.
Right.
Kasi very limited talaga siya. So it's very rare. Tsaka ang daming members din kasi now of this group NCT. So it's really hard for you to find your favorite, your bias. Kasi they were 23 total. So parang how many
chances?
The chances of you for getting your bias are pretty high. And for the special photocards na ganito, the price ranges, it differs depending on how popular the member is. So for instance, yung bias was pretty popular. So I've seen yung mga special photocards niya. I actually like some of them cost more than 50K. Yung iba umabot ng 70. I think the leader, like his photocard, parang I saw someone sell it for 90K. So parang pang tuition talaga yun. Yeah, and then so those are like the really rare cases naman talaga. But then photocards like these naman, and then like I think other album photocards that you can easily find. They range from around 100 to 400, 500 pesos, and which is why it was really scary kasi I think because of the episode, everyone, parang people would assume na baka, oh, all photo cards cost around this price. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they all cost around 50K. So, kaya I see why now talaga, like, it really made, parang naging trending talaga yung mga K-pop fans because
Yeah.
they feel like now that they carry this anxiety that they're carrying their photo cards with them, baka naman like, what they don't know what's going to happen. Tsaka like when they trade photo cards then, like when they write on yung parcels, they have to change also the name of what's inside the parcel kasi baka naman they might open it up before it gets to
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
Yun, so those are one of the things that happened following the episode. Kaya
Pero I
it was
would-
very
I would assume, like, if I were a photo card collector, I wouldn't be carrying around the 50,000. If
yeah.
I
for
were,
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
diba? Like, hindi ko yung isasabit sa bag ko.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Diba?
Like some people actually like do bring like cheaper photo cards. Some people do bring like the Deacon photo cards. If they want, this is a more cheaper. Like those things usually cost. Hold on. So I have a sample here. I actually just got this at Comic Cat from a pack.
Lalagyan.
Yeah, the top loaders. There's like special top loaders. So here it is. So this is a Deacon Sana photo card from Twice.
Lalagyan.
Oh, this thing is from Shopee. Oh my goodness. I got this online. So this is like, the top loader is actually way more expensive than the photo card. But what I mean like talaga, it's like they would just bring more inexpensive photo cards. The one that they could feel like sparks, that sparks joy pa rin. Because, you know, it's not really like the price tag. It's really the content that makes them feel happy. Like this one, like the reason why this photo card in the first place makes me happy, it's like, I got this at Comic Cat. I got this from a pack of like 5 photo cards at Comic Cat. It only costed 160, and like the selfie is so pretty. I remember seeing a post na hinablot yung Deacon photo card niya. For context pala, Deacon's actually yung Dispatch na magazine na photo card. So that for just a little bit of context, but just imagine just having a cheap photo card like that just stolen, and that it meant a lot to the person, and it just really hit me because like I'm very protective of my photo cards. I call my photo cards home buddies because they just stay at home. I rarely bring them. So Yeah.
Ayun. I mean, I think one of also like pinoint out after the report was aired was hindi kasi na-contextualize kung bakit nga siya umabot ng 50K. Just like what Gabby mentioned, as far as I know, some of those cards kasi was like around 200, and yung isa 200 copies lang per member worldwide. Yung isa naman 500 lang. So imagine like there's a lot of K-pop fans out all over the world. So to have that kind of like, 'di ba? Parang I mean, the chances are so low. So talagang gets mo siya kung bakit, I mean, with all the demand supply conversation, gets mo siya kung bakit umaabot siya sa ganong pricing. But then again, since non-collectors can't even tell the difference kung alin ba dito yung rare talaga, ang na parang may akala lang nila, umaabot talaga siya sa ganong pricing. So, for context lang, for context lang po, sa out of this, like, 9 Jonghan photo cards, basically, ito, album photo card to, usually, nabebenta siya around 300, ganon. Kasi, part lang siya ng album inclusion. So, it's very different, I mean, this one. So, it's different than this one, na parang pre-order benefit siya. Parang, available lang siya sa limited time tapos sa specific site. So parang kung hindi ka bumili sa site na yon, hindi mo 'to makukuha. Kung hindi mo siya nabili before that deadline, hindi mo rin siya makukuha. So isa rin siya na parang sobrang limited lang siya in case na parang hindi na siya mag-release ulit. I mean, today, parang kung ano lang yung copies nito out there was just like the ones that released during that limited time. So, ito din, this was from one of their old albums. As far as I know, hindi na siya in production ngayon. So, parang this was like 5 years ago. Kaya ang hirap niya rin makahanap if ever like gusto mo siya i-collect ngayon. So, that's one of the reasons kung bakit talagang, ang dami kasi talagang factors kung bakit tumataas, bumababa yung ganong pricing. Ito rin, I mean, sometimes we often say na parang sino album pulls mo. Kasi most of the time, random lang yung nakukuha mo sa isang photo card, isang merch. But there are also cases na may mga items sila na parang full members. So imagine na parang 13 members ng 17 yung nakukuha mo. And then obviously, kung i-compare mo siya sa mga random na releases, mas mababa yung presyo niya. Kasi, I mean, hindi na siya na parang out of luck lang. Na parang sure ka na kuha mo silang lahat. So, I mean, since you don't know kung ano yung factors na nag-affect ng ganitong pricing, sana naman lang mas na-explain siya ng maayos so that other people, other non-collectors would know na bakit umaabot siya sa ganung price. And dapat sana na-emphasize na hindi yung, kasi obviously, I personally won't spend 50,000 for one card alone. Or kahit ilang cards pa yan. Parang that's such a big price. I mean, I feel like the largest, charot na lang umamin. Pero, pero like, for 17 fans, alam nyo na kung magkano yung presyo nito. Tsaka, ito. So basically, those are like my biggest purchases for the cards ever.
For the interest of the public, magkano?
Nahiya siya.
Kasi minumonitor po ito ng nanay ko. Kinabahan. Pero ayun, basta, alam niyo na yun. Alam niyo na yun. So, ganun lang po yung limit ko. Tapos,
Is it below 10K?
ay, oo naman. 5K, below 5K.
Below 5K.
Okay, yun. So, ayun. So, ayun. I mean, there's just like several factors lang kung bakit nagkakaganon yung presyo. And sayang lang na hindi siya masyadong na-expound further sana. Para hindi naman ganon yung judgment sa aming mga collectors na bakit aabot ka ng libo-libo. There were even comments na parang, sana nag-print ka na lang. Na parang, baka mo pa dyan.
Basta ang takeaway ko, parang the economics of the photo card is so complex.
Yeah.
That it can actually be its own episode. Like
Yes.
just
Tama.
that
Yeah,
part
tama,
alone.
for sure.
Yeah. Ayun.
I mean, wait lang. I just have to add na kasi parang I think that's one of the problems since yun, hindi nga sila aware kung the different kinds of photo cards are. Hindi pa nila ma-differentiate for the non-collectors kung ano yung official ones from the unofficial ones. So, most of the time, yung mga sinasabit ko sa bag ko ay hindi official. Parang, I mean, kaya ko siyang i-risk sa labas. Pero like, makikita mo na binibenta siya somewhere with like, di ba, sabihin natin 1K for that. Parang obvious na hindi to part of the community. Kasi parang
Ina-assume nila.
ina-assume nila. Peke pala yun. So, di ba, parang sobrang harmful na siya for the whole market price mismo ng BNS community. Since, ang takot lang namin is ang daming taong hindi aware ng mga intricacies na biglang mag-invade sa space namin. Tapos, it could ruin like a lot of things for us. Napagod.
Speaking of ruining things for you guys, like, have you guys ever been directly judged for your collecting? Like, have your family members ever said anything? Oh, ba't ganyan mukha mo, Ross?
Sige, go.
I can talk about it. But then, like, I was like, bring all my photo cards. And then my dad was like, you're part of the problem, no?
Oh!
It's okay. Like, I get where my dad's coming from. But then, like, it was like, really, like, I don't really collect a lot of photo cards in the first place. So that also puts me into further danger. Kasi I just don't. I really invest myself into very selected photo cards. And in the first place, it just generalizes the whole population of the photo card community. Not everyone in the photo card community has like yung mga binders or yung mga like special sleeves. Some of us are just really just simple people na parang it just sparks joy in the first place. And that's why we just bought it. Like recently, since Twice just had their recent album, I actually bought with a friend some photo cards also because like it was like, oh, ang ganda naman to. So we just did it together. But then that whole episode just really made me mad. Like, I have certain anger outside of like the whole photo card community aspect of it, but just like it makes me feel annoyed. Na what about people like me? Na parang I don't buy rare photo cards. So
Basta masyadong na-generalize.
yeah, does it generalize me as a person who just wastes all of his money in the bank for it? Not really.
Ikaw, Gabby.
Luckily naman, I've never been judged. But I feel like it also has to do with the fact that I started collecting lang when I was like an adult. I was working now and making my own money. So I see how, siguro like, kunwari if you're a student, tas you're collecting photo cards. Syempre ma-judge ka talaga because like, you're only probably, if you're not a working student, you're probably using maybe your parents' money or allowance. And I guess it would be hard for you to justify na why are you spending your money on, photo cards like this, ganon. Ako naman, like, I make my own money, so it's not really a problem for me. I spend my money wisely naman, tsaka I'm very responsible with my spending habits. Pero I feel like, beyond that din kasi, like, I guess they shouldn't, yun na nga parang sinabi ni Ross, they shouldn't generalize na, I mean, like, because you're spending money on like mga merch, photo cards, I mean, technically, what are you gonna do with yung mga photo cards na ganun, diba? Like, it's just a collector's item. It's just gonna sit in your binder, tas parang ganun lang. But I mean, if it makes you happy naman talaga, and if you're responsible about your spending habits, I feel like people should be more accepting, about when it comes to that na, as long as they're spending their money wisely, they're really investing in things that make them happy, I feel like people should be more, like open to those kinds of things na, this is not, parang it's not a new concept naman talaga kasi sinabi naman ni Isa, like, people have been collecting NBA cards, Pokemon cards since the beginning of time. So this is just the same thing. Like, it's okay to spend money on things that make you happy naman as long as you're being responsible about it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Na parang, why does it seem like there's a particular stigma, or at least it seems to me, na there's a stigma against K-pop merch collecting, as opposed to, like, I don't see anybody hating on
Funko Pop collectors.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do see people hating on
Yu-Gi-Oh
Funko
cards.
Pop collectors.
Sneakers.
Pero parang iba siya.
Parang
Iba siya.
like, I don't want to generalize din, pero parang, yes, there is some criticism towards parang toy collectors or whatever. Kasi parang, why would you buy a tiny thing that's like 15,000 pesos or something like that? Pero I understand that general concept. Pero why does it seem like the K-pop people have particular heat on them?
Kinakul po ata nila yan. Ewan ko, pagod na ako. I mean, as a fan, since like 2009, di ba, parang I grew up like being bashed as a K-pop fan. Kasi raw, I've read, there was this specific comment sa Facebook when we released the article. I remember someone commented na parang, na bakit ka kukolekta ng mga picture ng mga lalaki nagbe-makeup, blah, 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 blah. As in, tapos parang tatawa ko kasi it circulated sa Twitter na parang, ang grabe naman, na parang masyado raw gina-judge yung idols, yung fans, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, ako kasi, I mean, within the family, I remember my uncle collecting yung mga small cars kapag yung mga gasoline stations may promo. So, may collection siya ng ganon. Tatay ko at kapatid ko may shoe collection. Kaya every time talaga magsabi na, uy, may package na naman kayo, K-pop na naman yan. Tayo, may sapatos ka na naman. Sabi ko, bawal. Nanay ko may collection ng bags. So, ang point po dito ay may hoarding problem po yun.
Pamilya po.
Tamay.
I mean, in general, I agree. Like, everybody collects something.
Oo, yeah. I mean, collecting in general is already expensive. Pero yun nga, just because like, ewan ko, madali lang ata kasi yung i-hate yung mga babae.
So there might be a gender thing.
I think it's a gender thing. It's a gender thing.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I kind of feel like it's also like, you know how like people tend to like the masculine and feminine traits of like emotions are more feminine, ganon. So of course, since this is a more emotional investment, because also this is also an emotional investment for me, it really tends to feel like, oh, it's not more worth it because emotional lang yan eh. Kaya sure, parang why are you spending for the stigma of K-pop na guys who get surgery, who quote unquote act gay, ganon. And it's all of those microaggressions against those that really stigmatizes us. And like they don't get it kasi like parang okay, like with sneakers and Pokemon, isn't there also an emotional connection na parang you feel an affinity to the brand, you feel an affinity to the Pokemon. And as a Pokemon fan also, that it really, I see the irony because it's like, oh, so that Pokemon means a lot to you, but a person of a boy group who's actually trying to connect with his fans through different platforms, it's not meaning to your daughter or to your sister or to your friend. Like it's very invalidating kaya in that perspective.
Validating.
True. And it's not just like limited to the collecting culture in general. Parang most of the time, people cheered when guys like get emotional over watching sports game. Yung iba nga nangaaway pa. Tapos okay lang, they're passionate about it. What about it?
Yeah.
Pero kapag babae na yung umiiyak sa concert, you're crazy. Tawang nangaaway.
Kalma. Wait lang. Pupunta ka pang Harry Styles mamaya.
Certified crazy.
Yeah. But apart from like sparking joy, but has there ever been like a bad experience when you collected anything?
Like, I mean, collecting hindi siya, I mean, we're not saying that it's like a perfect community. It has its own flaws. Kagaya naman, just like the whole collecting, I mean, just like when it comes to like collecting other items, parang there's also issues of scammers. I mean, hanggang ngayon, feeling ko may album pa ako from like 2020 na never na-ship. Parang that's 5 albums. Japanese albums pa ng 70s. I was like, okay, ang hirap mo nang habulin. Sige, sana masaya ka. Sana kung saan mo ginamit 'yon. Sana, I mean, if ever man yung mga pinang-scam mong pera, sana ginamit mo siya ng maayos. Tapos, ayun, I've also seen how, like, brutal sometimes the whole community is with, like, doxing information. Parang hindi talaga siya perfect. And then, I guess, I think one of the things that we wanted to raise that episode is, ang dami nga naman talaga na parang other people, or there other collectors who are, like, using other people's money just to, like, fund their own. Tama naman talaga siya. It's a problem. Like, I mean, kung sino man yung na-feature doon, sana they could have, like, I don't know, na parang tinulungan sana nila in a way na parang if she needs help. Kasi kung abot ng ganun, di ba? Parang they could have, like, handled it better and not in a way na,
issue there.
Na parang there really is an issue there. Parang hindi lang sana siya nag-focus na parang dun sa, I mean, for me, I think, kasi ang dami lang nag-iisip na mostly galing sa nakaw yung pagko-collect namin. It's such na, parang ang dami, honestly, without biases, I think the K-pop collectors are, like, one of the most responsible people I know. Iniisip nila kasi na parang bibilhin namin lahat. When it's not the case, na parang we all have our standards, we all have our own practices. So parang naka-invalidate lang siya ng whole community when I know that ang dami dyan na students na nagpa-part-time job, nag-accept ng commissions, na parang ang daming shops na parang naging breadwinner sila when they started the K-pop online shop. So, asaya lang na parang it's not a bad thing, di ba? So, ayun, masyado kasi nag-fixate. So, like, one experience, tapos na-generalize na yung buong community.
Kayo, did you have any, like, bad experiences while collecting?
I just went through it recently, actually. I've gotten
What happened?
What
happened?
So, actually, like, okay, this is a photo card that was, like, I bought this online also. So, like, this is also a photo card I bought then online. But then, there was supposed to be another one that went with it, that was supposed to go with this top loader. So, hold on, I'll show it here. So, this one is actually a between 1 and 2 photo card ng twice. But I was supposed to have another one. It was supposed to be a photo card of Sinasana with the black telephone. I bought it from a person, but then, like, she bounced. She basically bounced, and then basically, like, she kept creating accounts, scamming people, and it just became this long. So, like, basically, the long gist of it, people were, like, demanding refunds already. And I managed to get the refunds because I was first, but then, like, you know, she only processed a few refunds, and then she just bounced again. So, of course, scamming is something that, you know, is something that's prevalent in the K-pop BNS community. But it's not just the BNS community. Of course, like, parang
Any community.
Every community.
Any selling community.
get tickets, shoes. I'm sure like there's some who just, like, put fakes in their shoes and then just sell them for, like, the actual resale price of the shoe. For example, in the secret community. So it just sucks kasi, like, you know, we've had these experiences, but sana what it could have been done is that, you know, for example, that thing could have been done privately, because I'm sure, I know BNS community, they would demand refund, they would demand accountability. They demand really accountability. I think they're the ones that pursue the most. Kasi sila yung pinaka-aggressive na parang they demand accountability from the agencies. What more from individual sellers who play with their hearts? Ganon.
Ikaw, Gabby, meron ba?
I explained this in an earlier episode, I also got scammed. Pero it wasn't even for a photocard for me. As in, I was finding a photocard for my friend. Kaya parang nahirapan talaga ako because, like, it wasn't even, I mean, I kind of had, like, a quote-unquote deadline because it was supposed to be a gift for her birthday. So akala ko talaga, like, okay, na-secure ko na yung photocard. And then I realized, like, I got scammed. And then there's so many other people who also got scammed by the same seller. Ayun naman talaga, I feel like that is something that I think the buy and sell community has been struggling with for a long time, with scammers talaga. But I like to think naman talaga that other buyers also have been, like as Isa said naman talaga, like, some K-pop collectors are really some of the most responsible talaga. I feel like it's because, you know, as a community, we have to look out for each other then. So, there are sellers, what we do, kunwari sa Twitter, ganyan, sellers post proof of yung mga transactions nila just to show that they're reliable, you know, seller, you can trade with them, you can buy their stuff, tapos parang, at least other people can vouch naman na matino naman yung seller na to, ganun. And also, like Russ said, parang people, like K-pop stands like to demand accountability naman. So let's say if they got scammed, di naman sa doxing levels, because that's like another level. But at least, like, they'll spread awareness na be careful if you're gonna buy from the seller. Kasi baka ma-scam ka, like, because this is my experience, blah, blah, blah. Yun, I feel like kasi as a community, you really have to like, yung buy and sell community talaga has to look out for each other. And I think that's what I like din naman about, the K-pop collectors talaga, because we really look out for each other when we're collecting photo cards. Kasi this used to be a thing. I mean, before the episode aired talaga, this was really something that only we could understand.
Right.
Na parang this was really special to us talaga.
True.
And this is how important it is to us. This is why we're super responsible. We have all these guidelines for like, ourselves, ganun. Yun, it was really something that we learned to, we learned to be, like in a sense, like we learned to handle all of these responsibly. So I like to think naman na, we're learning as a community, and this is something really special to us kaya it matters. Yeah.
Exactly. I think also, feeling ko kasi some would think na just because you're into it doesn't mean that, you're into it, hindi ka na pwede makawala. I mean, I've known of several friends who were able to successfully sell all of their collection. I mean, di ba, we usually kasi call it like quitting sale, na parang time to let go na, wala na yung sparks, and they were able to do it naman. Like sometimes nga, with how close the community is, especially during the pandemic, honestly, umabot kami sa point na parang kapag, oh my God, may bago akong package, i-announce mo siya na parang, nakauwi na si ganito, gano'n.
Yeah.
Po yung jongan ko. Tapos kasi dati, parang may wishlist ka pa na parang, ito po sana yung mga photo cards na gusto kong makollect, blah, blah. So you're gonna look for different ways para mapaupuwi siya sa'yo. And then like, kapag napauwi na nga siya sa'yo, everyone's cheering for you. Talaga may friends ka na siya. Umabot na minsan sa point na parang kapag may mga sellers na parang magbebenta ng ganitong photo card, magtatag ka ng friends, uy, i-mine natin to for me, ganun. As in talagang sobrang intricate niya. Tapos, ayun, umabot, successful naman. Ang dami, feeling ko naman, if nawala na sila ng sparks, kaya ko naman siya let go. I mean, sayang lang na para kasing feeling ko kasi ang goal ng episode was ibenta niyo yung merch para makuha yung money. Kaya niyo yung gawin sa Twitter at sa Facebook.
Yeah.
Other people would
Yeah.
support it. Ang pangit lang talaga nung the whole packaging of it.
Yeah.
Ayun. So, ayun. Kaya niyo po. I mean, pwede natin itry. Magbebenta po kami after.
Naging live selling pala.
Live selling.
Okay, so we're down to our last question. Actually, ang dami nila nasabi. Pero what else can you say about those who are unfamiliar with the K-pop collecting community? Like if you have a message to people who are unfamiliar with the whole rigmarole of this. Let's start with Russ.
I'll start because like I have a very unique photo card experience also actually that I've wanted to share. I think Margie, you know this is an ITZY concert. So it was an ITZY concert actually, and then I was also covering also the people handing out freebies, the fan freebies at Mall of Asia. And then so there was this one girl na parang and then she was giving out like freebies. So I helped her out also kasi like 'di ba medyo may crowd dun, 'di ba? Na parang they would crowd around her. So I just passed. Okay, sino gusto to? Sino gusto to? Sino gusto to? We met again like when I was at the merch booth because I was buying the itchy shirt that I'm wearing now. And then I was like, sayang, wala na yung na bobblehead na gusto ko. She came back and then she gave me this photo card. So this is actually the photo card she gave me. She gave it to me for free. This is an official, like, you can't like get this anymore. This is from a fan package ng ITZY noong April 2021, I think, if I remember. So it really means a lot to me kasi like beyond the whole that show, the K-pop community itself, not just the buy and sell, it's really like people who look out for one another. And if you just really give them a chance, beyond the whole dark side of K-pop, whatever, kineme route, then you really open a world of possibilities of like how generous people can be talaga. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ikaw, Gabby.
Yeah, I guess like ayun naman talaga, like if you come across like a K-pop, a collector, like it's really nothing new naman talaga. Like I guess like if you're not into that sort of thing, like I guess just tell yourself na, if these are people who are spending their money wisely, parang it's their hard-earned money naman talaga, like, nothing wrong naman with splurging on yourself, like if it really makes you happy talaga. And yun lang, like I hope that people are more. To be honest though, I didn't get into K-pop when it became mainstream. So I used to be one of the people who didn't understand it then. Pero now, like, I guess like coming in to yung fandom now, like parang nagagets ko na yung appeal. So I guess like I just hope that people who aren't familiar with how K-pop works, yung photocard, economics and everything, I hope that people, parang become more accepting of that. Na parang, baka naman talaga like, these are people who really just want to, find find joy in their lives, and this is one of the things that gives them joy. Like, no matter how, like, how, I guess, like, useless these photo cards seem to other people, like, only K-pop fans talaga will know how much these mean to us. And yun, like, I think that's really like my guiding principle in life. Like, I think as long as you're, you're being responsible, making the right decisions naman, nothing wrong naman talaga with, spending money on things that make you happy.
Tama.
Yeah.
Oh, as long as it's responsible, you're not hurting
Yeah.
anyone naman.
Oo,
So
yeah.
parang, it's your business.
It's your stuff, yeah.
And finally, photocard queen Isa, I'm sure you have like an hour-long speech in store, pero please try to keep it within a few minutes.
Ayun, so to my fellow collectors. MMK yan. Joke lang. Gusto ko lang po. And then, isang binder tour lang kasi pinaghirapan ko silang hanapin. Charot ako. Ang hirap pag-decide kung ano dadalhin ko today.
Wait, so you collected these just for, you put this in the binder just for today?
Oo, kasi may iba-ibang binder sila per members. Ayun, so ayun, nagpili pa ako. Ayun. Anyway, so ayun, for fellow collectors, ayun, collect responsibly, collect within your means. I feel like everyone knows already, everyone's already aware of that. It
And
doesn't
for the
make you
non-collectors?
less of any fan kapag konti lang or madami kang collection. You don't even have to collect anything in the first place. Just like show your support of them in whatever way that you can do. Ayun, so for non-collectors, I mean, if you're not going to try to understand the community with an open mind, then don't even try. You don't have to accept, understand, or like what we do just to know that we're having fun with it. I mean, if it doesn't affect you, bakit ka magmomoda dyan? Charot lang.
Why do you care?
You don't have to shit on other people's joy. Ano yun lang. So, yeah. I mean, it's not like we're trying to gatekeep the community, pero this is our way of like trying to look out for each other. I mean, if it's gonna do more harm than good, then dito na lang. Okay na kami. Okay na kami sa ganitong bubble na to. Ayun. So, ayun.
Okay.
Kindly.
Okay, please don't cry. And guys, that's it for today's episode of Hello to Hallyu. If you have topics you want us to discuss, or if you just want to see Rappler's photocard collections beyond
Finally!
this, hit us up at #hello_to_Hallyu. I'm Marguerite Leon. Thanks for watching.